Welcome back to math. Here we are with our exponents again. This time we're going to talk about exponents in a multiplication problem. Pardon me. So let's just think of what this little number means. What is it called? It's called an exponent. And when that little number is over a big number, the little number tells us how many big numbers there are. So in this case, it's 3 to the second power, or 3 squared. So that means that we have two big 3's with a multiplication sign between them. Everybody remember that from last time?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, let's change the problem slightly. We have a 2, okay, and we're going to multiply it by 10 to the third power. 10 to the third power, okay? So, question, what do we do first? Do we either do the 2 times 10, or we do the 10 times 10 times 10? Or is it 10 times 3? You remember? What's our little number tell us?
Exponent.
It's an exponent, but it tells us how many, what?
Can we multiply?
Big numbers there are, right?
Big numbers.
So, how many big tens are there? There are 3. If you notice, I put 3 of them down. Now, do you remember, I'm going to move this 10 over here, okay? And we'll multiply it. And remember, I'm trying to make it easy on you guys. So here's what we could do. We could say 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. Because anything times 0 is what? 0. Because at the beginning of the year we talked about groups, remember?
Yeah.
So if we have 10 items but we have no groups of them, that means we get nothing. Okay? Anybody need a refresher course on that one? No? Okay. So, now what do? Well, we're going to want to do a placeholder here. Why are we putting a placeholder there? Because of, let me change my color, my highlighter color. Because of this 1. What is that 1? What place is that 1 in? Is it in the 1's place, or is it in the 10's place, or what? The 1 is in the 10's place. So we're going to do 1 times 0, and that's going to have to go here, because do you notice? This is in the 10's place. Do you notice that? So 1 times 0 is what? 0. And then 1 times 1 is what?
1.
Okay, we put that there. Now we're going to add them together. And what do we have? 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. And 1 plus, there's a 0 up there too, right? 1 plus 0 is a 0. So now we know 10 times 10 is what? Is 100. Let me rewrite 10 times 10 over here. I'm going to show you a short way just for you because you guys are special. So let's do that. I'm going to do this first. See those 2 1's? 1 times 1 is what? 1. And then let me use my highlighter. How many zeros do I have? 2. I have 1 here, right? And I have 1 here, so 1 plus 1 is 2. So I'm going to put 2 zeros in back of it. Are these the same?
Yes.
Do you see how much easier it is than going through the longer way of multiplying to just do it 1 times 1 is 1, and then you go 1, 2 zeros, and you put the 2 zeros in the back of it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see any patterns here? Not yet?
I think so.
It's okay. You don't have to.
No, I think so.
Okay. Now, how many? Now, do we have to multiply the 100 by what? What do I have to multiply the 100 by? Because I took this 10 and I I put it right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I multiplied these two 10 together. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do I have anything else to multiply? I have one more 10 to multiply, don't I?
Yeah.
So do you want to use our easy method that we just learned just a second ago? What do we want to do? Well, I'm going to change the color of this. Let's do what? Let's multiply the 2. What? Hello? Just say it.
1.
Let's multiply the 2 ones. Okay, 1 times 1 is?
1.
What? Now, how many zeros do I have? 1,
3.
2, 3. So I'm going to follow it with 1, 2, 3 zeros. So that makes this what number? 1,000. So now we've learned that this 10 to the 3 power, right?
Yeah.
Or the 10 with an exponent of 3 equals 1,000, right? Does that make sense? Are you with me? So 10 times 10 times 10 equals 1,000. What do you see? Look at those. Look at the multiplication problem and look at the answer. What do you see? Say it out loud.
All of them, there's 3 zeros, so you put 3 zeros.
So what you're saying is that I see a 0 in this 10, a 0 in this 10, right? And a 0 in this 10. So 10 times 10 times 10 is like 1 with 3 zeros.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Did you hear that? You're going, yeah, but I don't quite understand it, right? Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me do a color thing with you here and see if you can get it. This 0 is the same as this one. This 0 is this one, right? Are you with me? And this 0 is this one. And this only works with 1 when you're multiplying 1, like tens. It only works with the ones. So 1 times 1 is 1, right? And it's followed by 3 zeros. So when we have 10 times 10 times 10, it's the same as 1,000. Does that make sense? A little bit? It's a little freaky, isn't it? Let's see if we can do another problem, okay? And then we'll come back to this one in just a minute. Well, let's finish that one first. Sorry. Let's go ahead. Now, what do we have to multiply the 2 by now? Is it 2 times 10? Or is it 2 times another number? It's 2 times 1,000. Right. So what's 2 times 1,000? Remember the easy way I showed you, right?
Yeah.
2 times 1 is what?
2.
And how many zeros do I have? 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros. The answer is 2,000. So we would put 2,000 up here, right? Does that make sense? Do you see how that works? Yeah? See how that works? Yeah. Remember our shifting method? Do you think this could be used for our shifting method?
Yes.
How could we use it as a shifting method? 2. So our problem is 2 times 10 to the 3rd power, right? So let's just say I'm going to do the shifting method. And I'll put should I put my decimal here? Do you remember what that place is? Tenths. That means 10 pieces. Nice. And this is hurry up people. This is ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 1,000, right? And then this would be 10,000. Good job. Okay, so where do I put my 2? I put it right here, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's in the what place? It's in the ones place, right?
It's a whole number.
So what am I going to do now with the 10 to the third power? What am I going to do with the 10 to the third power? Well, my 10 to the third power means my 10 has how many zeros? It has 3, right? So I can move this over how many times? Let's see if it works. You ready? How many times are we going to move it over? 3 times. 1, right? 2, right? 3. So I put my 2 here, and then what do I do with the rest of these? I fill them in with zeros. So did I get 2,000? Is that what that is?
Yep.
Wow. So my shifting method works on this problem even with an exponent, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, huh? That would be the same as 2 times 1,000, right? So do you see how the shifting method works for our exponents that are in tens? This only works with your exponents in tens. Are you with me? Or hundreds or thousands. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? All right. So that's how you can use your shifting method to do exponents. So if you notice, what did we do? We took our 2 and we know that we're going to move it over 3 spaces, right? Because of the 10 is to the third power. So we're going to scoot over 3 place values and it's going to give us 2,000. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds pretty easy.
Yeah.
Do we have time for another?
Actually, we have like 2 minutes left.
Okay, then I will make it quickly. Okay? So let's say our problem this time, and I'm going to get rid of that guy, and I'm going to push this up. Let's say our number is 2.1 times 10 to the 4th power. 10 to the 4th power. How do we write this? Well, we're going to put the 2 where? In what place value? In the ones place. And then where do I put the 1? I put in the tenths place. And now how many places over am I going to be moving these?
4.
So I'm going to need another row below, aren't I? Am I going to need another row? Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to move the 2. How many places? 1, 2, 3. Am I doing this right? Yeah? 4, right? Is that where the 2 goes? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then what do we do next? We're going to move the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what do I do with all this space in here? I put zeros, right. So now I have what? 21,000. 21,000. Does everybody get that?
Yes.
Why is it 1,000? Because we have 4. That's 10 to the 4th power. Or 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. All right. That's our math for the day. I love math.